Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the Performance Lab. Don't forget to subscribe below to the right for updates to new videos and a huge announcement coming up. Enjoy! We have another new breakdown for you today and really it's a comparison video of Christian Coleman and Sha'Carri Richardson. And what we want to do is just give you a little bit of a background of what are some of the differences between sprinting as a male sprinter and sprinting as a female sprinter. Because I feel like when you're watching these videos, there could be female athletes that are watching these that might get a little bit confused, and what can carry over to how they're sprinting, and vice versa for male athletes that might be watching a female sprinter, might not be able to implement the same type of overall information for the different genders. So just thought I'd go ahead and give you guys a little bit more information of what is going to be the difference between a sprinter as a male and sprinter as a female. First thing that I would say is the two people here, Christian Coleman and Sha'Carri Richardson, are both two of the best this year in terms of overall sprinting. So just to give a little bit more background of why we chose these two, they're also the reason I didn't choose Usain Bolt is because he is just like a really tall person. So Christian Coleman's 5'9", Sha'Carri Richards 5'1". So for both of them, they're both around the average. Christian Coleman might be a little bit below average, and Sha'Carri Richards might actually be a little bit below average as well for the average sprinter. So I think that they would end up working out well. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. And really what I want to be able to show you guys is just what does the turnover look like, because that's going to be the big thing. So we can see, we'll go right leg here with Christian Coleman. Right leg is touching at 1661. He's toeing off at 1669. And touching back down at 1700. Okay, so, or 17, sorry. So you can see what that overall turnover looks like there. Comparison to Sha'Carri Richardson. Touching down 33.85. Off at 33.93. Which is back down at 34.26. So just off of the initial, looks like the overall contact time, 0.08. And this is interesting. I know it's a little bit over. 0.41 in comparison to 0.08 and 0.39. So a little bit of a difference there. Now we'll go into the left leg too. Probably touching about 1722. We'll say off at 1730. Touches back down at 1762. So again, 0.4 and 0.08. And then we'll go left leg for Sha'Carri as well. 34.46. 34.55. Finishing up real quick for you guys. I just want to be able to make it so you guys get this real time. You guys know I'm not trying to fudge it or anything like that. 34.89. So this one ends up being about 0.43, and this one ends up being about 0.4. So and this really ends up being the big point is that as a female sprinter, what's going to end up being a big thing is we've just kind of seen this overall. I don't know exactly what the science is behind this, but from my perspective, with like female sprinters seem to have a little bit longer legs in comparison to the rest of their body than male sprinters do, right? So, just if you were to ratio the overall body of a female sprinter in comparison to the ratio of a sprinter of a male sprinter, the women would have a average a little bit longer leg length. And because of that, that makes it so they have a little bit longer transition time. It obviously doesn't have a big impact on their actual contact time, right? Because we saw that Sha'Carri Richards was able to still maintain a really low 0.08 to 0.09 contact time. But the transition time was a few hundredths of a second difference. And that ends up being the big difference here. In terms of overall sprint, Sha'Carri Richards ran about 11s flat. And I think that, in this one, Christian Coleman ran about 9.98 or something around those lines. Yeah. 981. So yeah, 981 for overall sprint, and then Sha'Carri Richardson ran 11 flat. But I still think that she's going to be able to get below that. She's very, very young and very much at the beginning of her overall development. But I just think that understanding, that the transition time is going to be a lot different between, female athletes and compared to male athletes is going to be important in your overall training, because now, if you're not focused as much on or if you're training and you want to work on the improvement of transition time, working to, get to these top level athletes for a female, if you can get down to 0.4 or 0.42, somewhere in there, in comparison to males where it's like 0.35, really 0.36 is going to be the really good transition time for males. Now, Christian Coleman's obviously a little bit higher than that, but he has a really elite contact time. So females, you guys could really work on being able to maximize contact time, while males really being able to lower that transition time is going to be the big area that you can overall have the biggest improvement into. And then another thing that you want to make sure that you're working on obviously, again, is going to be a thing for both sides of the spectrum. But because of how the leg ends up bending, what a female athlete is going to have a little bit more susceptible problem to is going to be like groin, hip flexor type of problems, because of all the stress that's going on within the hamstring, where males are going to have a little bit more of a likelihood of having like plantar fasciitis, calf, hamstring type problems, right? Not to say that either one of them wouldn't have the other one, but just understanding that, from a athlete perspective, that males should really do a good job of stretching out their hamstrings, having good overall mobility and stability there, where females should really be able to have good overall range of motion and control of the groin area and the hip flexors. And there needs to be a lot of range of motion there, and also good control of the pelvis, just because that area ends up being a little bit more at risk for injury in comparison to the males, as I just said. So as always, guys, if you guys have any questions, would be happy to answer these for you. Hopefully I don't end up causing too much controversy with this video, but just want to give a little bit more information on some of the difference between male sprinters and female sprinters, and how that applies to training, how that applies to overall times and expectations that you can put on yourself in terms of developing your overall sprinting speed and maximizing your overall efficiency when you sprint. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon. Video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, you can subscribe down below, and that way you can get updates on any of the new videos that we get. Also, if you want to, you can check out some of our other breakdowns for speed and throwing. We have exercises, also jumping mechanics videos, a lot of great stuff within our channel. Hope you enjoy.